Hi everyone, welcome. Ryan here from the London Craftsman channel. How are you? Today's video is all about this router lift that you can see beside me and the fence. This router lift is only for a 1/4 inch trimmer, and this is just a standard fence for any router table. I'm going to be going through these two parts. Going to make a homemade router table just to demo this router lift and the fence because they do look pretty awesome. I'm pretty chuffed with the look of this fence, especially. It does look top of the range. It looks great. Plus the router lift, the quality of it is absolutely amazing. There is no downsides to this so far. The quality of it looks amazing. So yeah, anyway, that's what this video is about. It's about housing this small router lift, see how it performs in my homemade little router table, which I need to knock up out of offcuts today, and see how this fence works and just give it a little trial. So what I'm going to do now is knock up a quick table, see if I could just make something out of these offcuts, cut out the hole, get this housed, and then we'll be able to test this with the Makita trimmer inside it. Okay, so before I do actually start making this thing and put some time into it, I need to make sure it fits, and it has. It goes in nicely. You just take off this and then you slide it straight in. I'm having it this way around, I believe, the switch towards the red. And if you need to, there's a little bit of adjustment there. I think when I first got this, I did adjust it ever so slightly. So we know that works, and we know it's nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and make this table. This is all the components for the router table. We've got the top, we've got the two side legs, we've got the back brace, and we've got the two triangle braces to make it rigid. So I'm going to just cut a hole in the top to take the router table. And then once that's done, we'll be ready to assemble. All of this has been sanded up to P80. I've not gone mad. This is just a little trial. So I've marked out where it's going. You can see the rectangle very slightly. We're just going to go slightly to the back. But to get this cut out, I could either router it in the 10mm plate, but that would only leave me 8mm. So if I rebaited it to sit in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this cut out completely. Once I've done that, I'm going to put a cleat on each corner, a little triangle cleat, for that to then drop on and then pack the cleats up to the height that I need it. That way it's a lot more strength. So I'm just going to drill a hole, cut that roughly out with a jigsaw, and then I'm going to go around with the router and the flush cutter, neaten it up, and then we'll screw those cleats on. Very roughly cut out, leaving a few mil left. Now I've got the piece clamped to the bench, and I'm simply just going to do one at a time, using this as a straight edge. Forget about all the holes, it's still straight. Going to just screw this to the boards, router that bit, I'm going to turn it around, do the same. These corners are just going to be freestyled. I'm going to just route those by hand. Quickest and easiest way to do this. Remember, I'm not looking for accuracy, just want to get it done. Okay, that should be done. And I'll just start to try it in. It's upside down, obviously, but it fits. That router's got to be the other way around. So yeah, we're just going to put some cleats on the other side now. Cleats on at the back. This is what it looks like from the top. We need to make up 8mm, but before we do that, going to get the legs on, get it all assembled, then we can drop that in, along with some spacers at the bottom, like so. And we can pack it up to whatever we need, then screw it down from the top. So this is what we got about 2 hours later, cutting two pieces of OSB up into these offcuts. We've got a hole cut out with the cleats, router, lift ready to go in. It's looking pretty snazzy. So now I've got it in, got the lift in, made it flush. And I just simply put a couple of extra shims in there, anything to fill the gap to make it flush. So we've got a perfectly flush base now. I need to bolt it down using these supplied. So I'm just going to get a drill bit, which is the same size as the shank, not the thread. Pre-drill those, I nip them up, and we can work on the fence. Perfect. All four in. And it's a job well done, nice and flush, ready to move on to the fence now. And this is the fence that I am using. And we simply need to make a way to be able to get these bolts through to the other side, because these are the knobs that hold it to the router table. So let's look into that. So when you buy this fence, they do come with these channels, okay? So these channels are meant to go in either side, one there and one there, because on the underside, well, these are the knobs that hold it down to the fence. If I flip it around, these knobs go into these little nuts. These nuts slide into these channels. I don't really want to do that because this is only 18mm thick. If I router that in, which is 10mm thick, I've only got 8mm. I'm effectively weakening the whole thing, just making it 8mm thick at the weakest points. So I'm just simply putting two channels. If you can see my little cutouts, I've come in 65mm from my finger to the start and 35mm from the back edge to the start, okay? And I'm just going to use a 10mm router bit. Funnily enough, I've taken the trimmer out of the router table, which was only one nut, and I'm about to put a flute cutter in it to do the cuts, and then I can put it back after. So that's what I'm going to do now, set up a fence and router these two channels out, and then I'll be good to go and fit this on. So here we go. So we've got 35mm from the edge of the router trimmer to the edge of the blade. I've come in 35mm. Then I've dropped my router in like so, with the blade only sticking out about 6. I push it in, have a look at the top, router till I hit my line, and then I release it ever so slightly, come back to the same point, release the knob, and then drop it down and do it again until we finish. So yeah, do the same on the other side now. Okay, so here we are. We've got the router up against the fence. As you can see, there is the start. We're going to look down where we want it to start. We want to start in line with this pencil line, or even a little bit less, because we can always come back to that line once we've finished. Let's turn it on. There we go. That's one pass done. I'm just going to do the other pass, another 6mm deep, and then another 6mm deep, and it'll be finished just like that one over there. The fence slots are now done. Let's slip it on and see what it looks like. And then we can use these nuts at the bottom. I know it's going to be a little bit of a faff when it comes to nipping them up, so as you are tightening this, without holding this nut at the bottom, is going to spin on you. But it was just the better solution for me rather than housing these in. If you wanted to make this a little bit thicker, 25mm, even 30mm, make it double thickness, then you can put these tracks in. I would say so, because then you'd have enough meat in the top to router out for these. But I'm happy with this. It's only a quick nip up. Basically, I'm going to hold the nut underneath and just tighten that knob up at the same time. So that's the router table done, barring putting the router back in and setting up the cutter. But overall, it's taken me, I'd say, 3.5 hours to cut it up, sand it up, router out for the lift and the slots, and get it to this point. So not too bad, plus a few scraps. So the main test is to see if this trimmer actually works under load with some decent cutters in. We're going to try a round over bit, okay? It's the biggest one I've got in this pack. And yeah, we're going to give that a go. The good thing about this, well, what I like, is that these plates here, they are magnetic, which I thought was a really nice touch. They just clip into place where you want them, like so. Really, really nice. And yeah, it comes with this to tighten and untighten. Basically, it's a socket. There we go. And you can use this to tighten or loosen the strength of the actual turn. And I've got it just enough. And yeah, you see it going up now. Right, now to take it for a little spin. It does come with some accessories to help you get your hoover or your vacuum connected to the back, and I've just taken off the accessory on the ends here of my CTS hose, and that will go directly into here, albeit not the tightest fit, but it's going to work. But you do have other bits and pieces that you can use, and plus some more accessories. So yeah, we're going to put this router in. I've already put the round over bit in. To get the router in, the easiest way is simply just tipping it over and accessing it through the bottom. So this is what it looks like underneath now, okay? So you can see everything. You can see the cleats and the way it's holding it all together. And yeah, you can see the way the nuts are held. So remember, we just hold these as we're spinning the knob on the other side. To get the router in, I have it so the switch is facing forward, that's forward. That is the switch, and it's easier access to hold this as you're changing cutters. Slide it in. There we go. That's in, make sure it's straight. And this nut is the one that you want to nip up, okay? I know it's right at the back. If you've got a socket, it's a little bit easier. I can easily just get to it with my 13mm and nip it up. Don't have to wind it over tighten it, just 1 or 2 spins will do the trick. There we go. It's not going anywhere. Solid. Alright, so let's flip this back. Cutter's now in, and let's wind it up. Yeah, that looks good for the video. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to leave it like that. Right, so I'm good to go in height. I just need to set up my fence and just need to release these knobs. Move it to where I want it, so we'll turn that to the side so we can just see the cutter. We'll just move it forward. Parfait. Nip it up. And when it's quite tight to start with, you don't need to hold it underneath, I've noticed. It catches. As this is a corded trimmer, it can be connected to our ultimate workbench, so when we turn the power on, it will turn the hoover on. Okay, so all we need is a few scraps. Let's pick these 2. Perfect. Let's bring them over. One thing I did want to mention is that we do need to move these fences closer to the workpiece. Can't see there. So we just release those 2 Allen keys on this. We are able to also bring these fences in and out by using these grub screws also. So if we are machining and it's taking some of that meat off, which then won't hit the fence anymore, and you need to bring this fence forward, like a bull nose for a step, for example, for a tread, then you can wind these forwards. But for now, we are just simply just moving that as close to the blade as we want to and nip it up. Both sides, and the same over here, making sure that when you spin the blade it's not going to hit, and nip those up too. So we are good to go. We can add feather boards to this. You've got stoppers here, you've got all sorts on this, you've got tape measure at the top. For now we're just doing something very simple. Let's see how effective this system is, because it's never been tried. Right, so we are good to go after all that building. About 4 hours in total I have estimated to make it, set it up and just get it all ready to get to this point. Just giving it a little test run, turned it on and off, make sure it was safe, happy to go. Yeah, all locked down, cutter is nice and safe in there, made sure everything is tight and the extraction works. So we've got an offcut, nothing done on it just yet. Good thing about this setup I find is that firstly this little trimmer has got a speed setting. So I've actually reduced it because it was quite noisy and is a little bit too fast for this process. So I've just wound it down to like speed 5 on this Makita trimmer. Another thing I like is that if I ever wanted to use this trimmer for anything else, it's just release that nut, just 1 turn, and it will just drop straight out. Just all you got to do is tip it up on its edge, release that, and it will come straight out, and you can use it back as a trimmer once more. And they are relatively inexpensive. You can buy no-name brands, Katsu's, anything that you want. Yeah, I think it's brilliant. If you do get the corded version, then you can attach it to a hoover that's got auto start and stop, so you don't have to keep on turning the hoover on and off. yeah, I'm really chuffed with this. It looks really well made bit of kit, both of these, and they sort of work lovely right now together. So yeah, let's go ahead and turn it on. Voila, look at that, fantastic. Let's see if we can get a better shot. How cool is that, hey? Absolutely spot on, didn't struggle whatsoever. You would imagine that it's because it's a trimmer, it's not going to do the job properly. But in fact, these trimmers are more powerful than you think. If you are going to do large machining, then you will do it in a few passes. For example, if you're doing a rebate or a groove, it's got to be quite deep, or you're going through hardwood or softwood. You just got to do it in certain stages. So overall, this didn't cost a lot of money. I believe this is about £110, this router table, and the same for the fence. I can't remember offhand. I bought it about 6 months ago. So there we have it. A cheap ENJOYWOOD trimmer, router lift, and a new, don't know how to pronounce that one, fence for your router lift. Both inexpensive and I think really good quality. So there you have it, two great bits of kit. I really do think they are good quality, well made bits of kit. Both of them really heavy duty. The price for the ENJOYWOOD router lift is £120, and the price for the new router fence is £140. Do you like any of the tools that you've seen in the video? They'll be in the video description also. One last thing is, if you do want to make one of these yourself and you want plans, hopefully by the time you've seen this video, I would have made plans available on Etsy. If not, just send me a message and I'll see what I can do. But they should be available on Etsy for you to buy and to make yourself. And that is it. That concludes the video. Hope you enjoyed, guys. If you have, like and subscribe as usual. Have a great rest of the day. Enjoy your Sunday. See you next Sunday. Ciao for now.